Hello peoples, welcome to the Stoked Bloke Show. I'm Barton Lynch. I am the Stoked Bloke. This is my son over here on the couch, Lion. This is my cohort, Peter PK King, the legend of the Pipeline Studios. Massive thanks to A New Earth Project for supporting the Stoked Bloke Show and supporting the Blast Off. In today's episode, we're looking at week 3 of the BL Blast Off presented by GoPro. You know it's been a good week when you feel the knees and you've got wax in the hairs on your knees.
I heard you went surfing.
We got surf.
I heard there's proof.
There is proof. Yesterday was my first reintroduction to real waves. Obviously, I've been surfing and paddling and swimming and doing all of that sort of stuff through summer with my son Lion and surfing with him. But yesterday it was 6 to 10 at sunset, solid, stormy, windy, kind of wild and rugged around the edges, and so much fun. It was
You don't mind going right?
I love going right, and I love sunset, and I just love being back in the water, mate. I was so happy to be back in there, and I was pretty timid and scared at first, and just kind of baby steps, you know, since surgery in March, and not really having been in that type of an ocean. It felt so good to get a couple and get back to the beach and feel like you'd sort of done that thing that in your mind you've been dreaming of for 9 months. You've been waiting through summer, waiting for winter to get here, waiting to be able to go and surf and ride some 10-footers. And geez, it was a hoot.
That's cool.
It's super cool. And speaking of hoots, the third week of Blast Off has been a hoot. It was a fantastic week. The videos kept pouring in. We kept giving away prizes to kids. Started to get them from some different places: Scotland, Trinidad, Tobago, Bali and France and Barbados. So a whole bunch of other countries to go with the sort of traditional surfing nations, and starting to spread our fingers further and further. In today's show, we're going to recognise the awards and the prizes we gave away. One of the things that we did this week was ask the kids and the fans to send us their shark stories, courtesy of our friends at Shark Bands. And
I can't believe there's people have shark stories, other than like I went swimming on a shark tour.
Yeah, well, I suppose as surfers, that's a reality of our existence, right? Is that interaction with sharks, the fact that they're there, you go into their terrain, there's every chance you may see them. And
did you used to see them growing up?
And when I was growing up, not really. It seemed, and it was never really something that was in my mind or top of mind. And I don't know whether it was becoming a father and a parent and having someone else to live for other than yourself, or whether it was that, you know, things have changed, because it would seem that we hear a lot more about them. I definitely kind of hear and see more of them. Every summer we see them here at Mother's, come up right up onto the beach. And so it's a reality. And when you're out there doing downwinds and you're way out there in the middle of the ocean, I've gone over them a couple of times. A hammerhead one time, and I just pumped the foil straight to the jet ski, stepped off the foil into the gunnel of the jet ski, and went, that might be do me for today, you know. And, so that's a reality. But one of the stories, and the one that we liked the most, was from a young participant in the event, Rio Luther Bar.
That's
from
some small
Sawtell.
Lettering right there.
Yeah, well, lucky I could still read it, really. Yeah, it might take a while. So this is Rio Luther Bar's story in response to our Shark Bands giveaway, where he said, my first ever surf comp was a Woolies Grom comp in Coffs Harbour, Australia. And 2 minutes into the final, a fin swam right between me and my mate Fletcher. We fully saw it, but kept on surfing. The officials saw it too, so the jet ski sped over and did circles around the 4 of us boys, and then they blew the hooter, warning us. They told us to paddle in. I tried to keep surfing because I was so excited about being in my very first final and my very first comp. I didn't care in that moment that there was a shark. The jet ski driver told me I had to paddle in, the comp was stopped, and we all got equal first in our group. And we thought that was a fantastic story. He was so psyched about being in the final of this event and being in his first competition and actually making the final of his first competition, that when it came and the news that there was a shark there, he didn't really want to hear it. He didn't want to know about it. He just wanted to keep surfing and keep being a part of that very first final. So Rio Luther Bar, you're our winner of the Shark Band story, and a Shark Bands will be coming your way from our good mates at Shark Bands. So good story though, good grommet, and he also put in a wipeout reel, Pete, that we awarded this week that you've got to see to be believed. He gets belted, this young man. So we're also sending him a Simba surf helmet because he needs one of them as well. We're taking care of him from the top to the bottom.
So he needs protection from sharks and from himself.
Yeah, and from himself.
Love it.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a cool
How
little
fun
giveaway
is it
we did.
To recognize these groms throughout the whole series of the Blast Off, just to keep recognizing, giving them some props beyond maybe their own Instagram and the way they're connecting. Are you having excuse the term, a blast doing this?
I do. You know what? And for me, we talked last week about the importance of culture and spreading that culture to the youth of our sport and and of surfing itself, and to kind of engage with them and see their stoke gets me stoked. They love it, mate. When you're giving away the prizes or when the coaches are giving them commentary, I just get so many good comments back from the parents and the kids going, "Oh, thanks so much for that advice. I'm going to work on that." And then you'll get a message a week later going, "Hey, I've been working on using my front arm the way you told me, and I feel like it's really helping." And then a video will arrive, and you'll check that video out, and you'll see the improvement that they've made. And so, it's a good way to give back. It's a good way to engage with the youth, and then got to feed the family somehow. It ain't this way, but
nothing like making hundreds of dollars a year, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Being a rich surf coach.
That was one of the comments that I saw.
Can't even afford
YouTube.
a shave.
Yeah, well, that's right. I saw on YouTube a guy said to me, he said, "If I made the money you made, I'd be a stoked bloke too." And I went, "Oh, mate, if only he knew the reality of my existence, and the fact that, our generation, you didn't make a lot of money. There are only a few people that made a lot of money in our generation. And then, after surfing, you had to go and get a job. You literally had to reinvent your life and go and get a job after 15 years of surfing."
Where does he think you're making that money?
I don't know, mate. But I suppose when they look at your profile and they look at where you sit and you're kind of a...
Well, I guess if you
count,
if you put a $sign on Stoke, then yeah.
Yeah, we are rich, brother.
We're rich in Stoke.
Rich in Stoke, and I suppose that's reality, isn't it? If you're rich in Stoke, the money in itself, obviously money's important, and that's how you get, you survive, and that helps with the Stoke. But at the same time, we definitely got more Stoke than we do dough. That's for sure.
Yeah. Cool,
mate. So
get into some of the awards this week.
Let's have a look at what we gave away this week, and then we'll come to some announcements. The week 3 went from November 4th to the 11th, from George Taguchi Everest to Kanoa Hijai Palmiano's videos, just so the kids know what that group was. And I suppose when you look at those names, those two names speak to the multicultural world that we live in. George Taguchi Everest, Japanese kid, lives in Japan, and then Kanoa Hijai Palmiano from South Korea.
Wow.
And so obviously,
that last name made me hungry for lasagna.
Palmiano or
names are
Parmigiano.
crazy. I mean, Barton's a unique name. Is it a strange name in Australia? Or is there a lot of Bartons?
No,
it's an English name, right?
It's a strange name everywhere I've been. It's more a surname than a first name, Barton. And then the first Prime Minister of Australia was Edmund Barton.
Okay.
And so I think that's where it came from, was the first Prime Minister.
I was just saying most people are naming their kids some strange names nowadays. There's not a lot of John, Peter, Steves left.
No, there's a few Lions. And
Lion,
a few,
your son,
Bear.
and then my son's name is Bunker.
And you see them go through, there was Taj was very popular for a while, and there's these moments in time.
There was a lot of Tajas. A lot of people are named after surfers. In fact, one of my favorite Japanese surfers who grew up in Malibu, Taro Watanabe.
Yes.
Do you know his middle name?
No.
You don't know his middle name?
No,
This is real, too.
What?
Kelly Slater. You didn't know that?
Taro Kelly Slater Watanabe.
Yeah. Week 3.
Was a GoPro edit to Indica Knox Corcoran from New Zealand. Great young kid. He got a Spy Optics pack. An improvement award went to Lily Naylor from Margaret River, Western Australia in the girls' 10s, and she got a Sunbum pack. George Taguchi Everest got a pack from Hurley, Japan, for being our first Japanese entry. Martina Patega in the girls' 10s from Spain won a Hurley pack from Hurley Europe, our good friends over there. Memphis Brown from Maui in the boys' 14s put in a toe surfing combination of turns that was super sick. We sent him a Mink Systems, and it was no surprise to see progressive surfing coming from Maui. We know with our good mate Kai Lenny, and we know Laird Hamilton, we trace back so many of the innovative things in our sport have come from Maui and come from that sort of waterman field rather than just the competitive surfer aspect, haven't they? They've come from that bigger picture. And so
well, just the ability to have a dad or a brother or a friend who's got a wave runner when you're a kid, that speed, that power, those waves outside with nobody around.
Yeah,
that's a real advantage.
And then all of that wind and a windsurfer and a kite surfer and utilising the wind and understanding that. And we see the way Kai Lenny rides Jaws or rides Nazare, and it's such a crazy unique line because of the way he thinks, because of what he's been exposed to growing up there on Maui. So Memphis Brown got the Mink Systems. Rio Luthabar, who we mentioned just before with his shark experience story, his wipeout reel won him a Simba helmet. And then our high performance videos of the week were nuts, mate. We had 4 videos that I just couldn't split. There was Nathan Harada from the boys' 14s from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil.
I saw you reaching out on Instagram to get people to help you make this decision.
Totally. And in the end, it did kind of help, but it didn't really help. And in the end, the thing that did help was the people that said, oh, they all 4 of them deserve it. And I went, exactly, that's what we're going to do. So Nathan got a Creatures of Leisure pack. Moses Hennings, boys 10s from California, San Clemente, he got a Hurley pack. Taj Lidlestrom from boys 14s from Laie, Hawaii, kid rips, mate. He might have won on the votes and on the comments in the in there. He got a Future Fins pack, so he was stoked, or on Instagram, should I say. And Tommaso Layson from the boys 14s in Barbados, 13-year-old, he got a Sunbum pack. All 4 of those kids have the potential to be world champions. Incredible surfers, incredibly tough week to decide. But thank you, everyone, for being a part of it. And congratulations to all the kids for bringing their stoke and their performance. And thanks to all the sponsors for giving us these prizes that we can just continue to give away every day for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So some announcements, PK, and some news from the week. Our Kanduma event, we talked about that coming up in April 2023. The dates have been expanded to 16 years and under, so I just wanted to reiterate that. Ordinarily Blast Off's 14 years and under, but the Kanduma Maldives physical event that we're doing is going to be 16 years and under, so that's exciting stuff.
And I've been paying attention, and older people can come too, because there's a lot of stuff to do at the resort, so parents could come with the kids.
Hang out.
Or like your co-host could come and film.
That's right.
Me or Wes could come down with us and hang out.
Hold on, we're falling apart here. What's going on?
I don't
Yes,
know.
no, jeez, that didn't
Wow,
work.
Barton's getting attacked by his headphones.
Things I was trying to get it behind me. I'm
When
used to being
headphones attack.
WSL. You would be sacked for that.
Oh yeah.
You got to get that thing behind you, and when you do that, it's quite a difficult task. The big announcement for the week is a new prize from our new accessories sponsor, Creatures of Leisure, and what they have is a trip for one boy and one girl to the Urban Surf Wave Pool in Melbourne, Australia. We've seen footage of that. It looks amazing. Now, this is for Australian entrants only. And for new submitted clips, they get a Creatures Grand Prize pack worth $200 plus the Urban Surf trip, 3 hours of surfing that wave pool there in Melbourne, which we would like to go and do. We're going to select the top 3 male and female entries. The male winner is going to be decided by Ethan Ewing. And the female winner is going to be decided by Molly Picklum. They're going to pick the winners, and then they're going to get to go to Urban Surf and surf the wave pool. Now,
are they going to go with them? Are Molly and Ethan going to go surf with them?
Well, they could definitely try and make that happen. We will do our best, but
And
they're
are
at
you-
least going to decide who gets to go.
Are you picking kids like within 5 miles of the wave pool?
No, anywhere in
over
Australia.
Australia? Okay.
Yeah, all over Australia. The best almost make clip. So if you've got clips
I
of you
love it because you
almost
go to the
making
wave
stuff,
pool to train those.
exactly,
tricks,
mate.
yeah.
Your almost make clips. So you submit those almost make clips, and then you're going to get to go to Urban Surf and practice that and get better and better.
So is that for week 4 or overall?
That's for the last 3 weeks of the event. We decided after December 2nd. So for the next 3 weeks, we will accept those Nelly make clips.
Have you just incentivized falling? Go out and just like, send it and fall.
I see what you're saying. They're going to fake it up. They're going to act.
I would.
I like that. How's the way you think? How's the way you think? Clever
It's
creature.
not that diabolical. You said wipeouts win, so
Not
everybody's
wipeouts.
in.
We
not
want to see
wipeout.
the best
almost
Nelly
There's
makes.
a big difference.
There's a big difference. There could be the foots on the board. You nearly made it. It was an incredible thing. You were super, super close.
You should get
and
Richie.
that's what we're going to
You should get
award.
Richie Porta to judge that, because I remember a lot of times guys would do airs and he'd be like, "Nah,
That's not a make.
That's not a make."
They were they're very particular on their makes.
You got to ride
at the
out.
WSL.
You know.
If you don't ride, you can do the craziest thing, but if you land, you're standing on your board in the whiteboard, but you don't travel 6 inches in that whitewater, it could be deemed incomplete and scored a 2. But if you ride that whitewater for a couple of foot or 2, you could be a 10.
When we get through all the blast off
crazy
stuff,
stuff.
we're going to do an episode. You're going to do an episode on judging. I know you're not a judge and you say you don't like judging, but I would just love to get every ounce of your thoughts on what scores are what.
I'd love to share my ideas on how to change judging to make it a more entertaining and a more transparent process, because we've got good ideas on that, and I'd love to share that with the people. So let's do that, PK.
Okay.
But big thanks to Creatures of Leisure and our best almost make clip competition for the next 3 weeks, the last 3 weeks of the blast off. If you've got some footage and you're like, I nearly put that in my video, but I didn't make it, so I didn't put it in my video. But they're close and they're good makes. They're the ones we want to see. And Ethan Ewing and Molly Picklin are going to help us decide our male and female winner. And they'll get to go to Urban Surf and get shacked in the wave pool. A couple of things I wanted to talk about, just little brief notes. The day before yesterday, it was windy onshore, 3 to 5 feet. And I went, I'm going for a quick surf, and I was out there alone. And those surfs, when you surf alone, for me are the most intimate and the moments when I feel the most connected and where I feel like I learn the most about surfing and about the ocean. And it made me think, I'm sitting out there on my own, and it made me think about safety, because in the day, we've just come out of a few years of safety focus. Take care of yourself, be scared, be concerned, even to the point where that thing of don't surf on your own is something that you hear, and people going, don't surf on your own. In my experience, those surfs on your own are actually some of the deepest, most rewarding surfs you ever have. And they connect you with yourself and with surfing and with the ocean in a way that you don't get in a crowd. You don't get with other people around you, distracting you, talking to you, taking your mind away from the surfing. The surfs on your own are deep and they're powerful. And while we live in a safety concerned time, people wouldn't be advised to surf on your own because it's a dangerous thing to do potentially. But then for your personal growth and development as a surfer, it may be the very best thing you can do. Because while you're sitting out there and you've got no one else to rely on, no one else to depend on, you've got to be there with yourself, you've got to connect with the ocean, you're responsible for everything. That is a powerful experience. And so I just thought I'd mention that, because I know how the world we live in now is around safety. And I respect that as well. I don't do stupid things, but surfing alone is a wonderful experience. And I had that a couple of afternoons ago, and it made me sort of aware of that, the world we're living in, and how you've got to be safe and protect everyone and protect yourself, and don't take any risks. Something might happen, but without the risk, you don't grow. Without the risk, you don't get the reward. Without exposing yourself in baby steps to things that may be considered dangerous or maybe a little beyond your immediate potential, but you can go there in a safe, controlled way and expose yourself to that growth, that's living to me.
I mean, it could be a little meditation session down the beach next to the 100-person crowd for 20, 30 minutes by yourself, and then just noodle on over to the crowd and assault the peak. But just to catch that little crappier wave, but to spend time by yourself could be good too. Just
in the ocean, just to hear yourself.
Would you like to share where you surfed by yourself?
Yeah, I just surfed Sunset Point.
Okay.
It was Sunset Point, no one else out, It only lasted 40 minutes, and then a few people started coming out. But it was one of those moments where it made me realise, Sure, it may be considered potentially unsafe as a thing to do, but at the same time, it's so rewarding, and I love those moments. I love surfing alone. I always have, and it's one of those things. I'm not encouraging it. I'm just saying that without risk and without a little bit of risk, the growth and the reward in the experience is just not the same. And if you stay in the cotton wool for the rest of your life, you might not grow. And perhaps that's what people want. They don't want you to grow, so they want you to stay safe so you don't grow. I'm encouraging you to have a dig in this life and in this world, and get out there, have a go, challenge yourself, challenge your fears in a controlled baby step fashion, as I do, bit by bit. And that's in there comes your growth. So that's the thought for today. A little bit of philosophy to finish up our show.
Love it.
Thank you, everyone.